Hey everyone. I do not know why I can't remember to close that window, so we are going to do that real quick before we get started. Please bear with me. I know this is very professional. Okay, that is a little better. Okay, so we are going to be talking about the 7 deadly sins today. And I am really excited about that because Um, Jasmine Ambrosia, I tagged her below. She had set this idea up for herself, and I really love it. I think that it is great, and I think that it is something to just look into and to see that like shit in moderation is okay, um, and to just learn more about myself. So that was the assignment for the past, well, 2 weeks because the past week, last week, I failed to get on to the live and do it. So, week one is research the 7 deadly sins, think of beneficial ways these sins can be used for ourselves, select one of the sins as your main focus for the challenge. So, the sin that I have chosen is lust. And the reason why I have chosen this one is because I have sexual trauma in my past. And this is something that I want to work on I want to work through with therapy. I think this project would be helpful. Um, and just like different 12-step programs would be helpful, meditation, prayer, all that shit. So, yeah, so that is why I chose lust to help me. Yeah, so, okay. So I did a little bit of research on lust, and you all may have read some of my notes when the laptop screen was down. um, it's okay to make mistakes. so, so there was some really interesting shit out there that made me like super uncomfortable reading it. Just hearing how, um, or reading how uptight isn't the word, maybe controlling. Um, that some of these Bible phrases were. Um, but I'll just go into it. So, one of the websites I went to was intervarsity.org. And this one was just comical to me. It said that gaseous lust is gaseous sin like carbon monoxide, silently expanding to fill any space it's given, choking out life. I just thought that was so funny. And I thought that that was an excellently written sentence, very poetic. Like I can't even hate it because I'm like that's some good writing right there. And then it goes on to say how generally lust is a strong desire for anything that is negative, and it is negative and forbidden. So, I guess the Old Testament reflects idolatrous idolatrous worship, and then the New Testament kind of moves into the sexual immorality. Sexual immortality, that would be pretty fucking cool. So it moves into sexual immorality, strong inordinate desire for sexual relations. The warning, so I guess like the warning for punishment is not for the, let's see, not is for the thought, but not the action. And then I read in another place that, oh, I'm sorry. So this, so the next website, yeah, on BibleStudyTools.com. I guess, yeah. So it's, I read in one place that it was punished by the thought because lust was the thought, not the action. And then on BibleStudyTools.com was lust is, okay, I see what happens. So the warning is for the thought, not for the thought, but the action, and lust is the thought. So people can, I guess, have lust, right? Like we can, I guess, like in our brains, we can do whatever we think, but like when it turns into actions, then that becomes the problem. But you know, this is suggesting to me that if lust is the thought and lust is a sin, then okay. So anyway, I'm just gonna keep going. So, and there are so many frustrating things that I struggle with in like religions just in general. But I will just talk about this. So it says, men can't even look at women lustfully because it is the same as having sex with her. And then Paul commands to destroy desires that manifest into sex. Quote, we must learn to control our bodies and be sanctified rather than giving in to our base desires, which is characteristic of those who do not know God, unquote. And then Peter points out that, quote, lust is evidence of a pagan lifestyle, unquote. And I laughed so hard at that because like, oh man. Cause like, I guess he says that like, folks need to stop behaving like they used to before Christ. And I just love how like he specifically says lust is evidence of a pagan lifestyle. So like, I find it fascinating and frustrating that like my spiritual path that I follow is, you know, some people call it paganism, Wicca, like there's just like that style is like, I just think it's interesting how I guess like the Bible is like, fuck you, like you're bad. And I just think that's really fucked up. Because people take the Bible literally instead of like a mythological book or just like a story that was, anyway, this is not the point of this thing. So, okay. So then John says, the man who does the will of God lives forever. And then he says, quote, we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. And we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. So like, man, like this is just wild to me that, yeah. So then it says, I wrote down lust is the thought, not the action. And then there's one more website that I looked at, and then I was like, I could not read any more about how pagans are bad and having sex out of marriage and like looking at somebody and thinking like, ooh, I would like to have sex with them is bad because that's an, okay. For me, all of this is for me and all of this is my personal opinion. Like I think sex is a natural part of being alive. And if everybody is consenting, why the hell not? Okay, so then this other website, Focus on the Family, says lust involves a choice and an act of the will, a conscious desire to pursue a desirable object instead of allowing it to pass by. So then this kind of goes back to like idolatry, and like sexual desires. So yeah. Yeah, okay. So and then a few times this was brought up. So the story of David and Bathsheba. So this shit is hella interesting. So I am far from any type of verse from with the Bible. I don't know. I don't know a lot about it. Um, but I did look up this story, and this story is fucked up. So like, I guess David. So it says like he sent his servants or whatever to take Bathsheba and bring him to her, and then he laid down with her. Like that is such a creepy way to say it to me. Like he and then he like when he was done, he sent her home, and then she became pregnant, right? And then so like this whole thing stinks of rape to me. Like the whole thing stinks of rape. And then like so she tells David that she became pregnant. So then David sets up her husband to be murdered. I'm like, this shit could be on the ID channel. And then I'm like, oh, it is on the ID channel. Like this, and then he marries Bathsheba. Like, so like everything must be okay. But then it does say at the end of the whatever it's called, that these things were not okay with the Lord. Excuse me. So I have no fucking clue what happened to David. I'm pretty sure I don't care. But it was that was oh my gosh. Anyway, so that is like the study that I did on lust on different like Christian websites. I guess they're Christian, Catholic, whatever. And so I feel like I'm still unsure of why lust is so bad, right? Because like I said, for me, like I don't understand because I feel like having sex with somebody and both parties are consenting, the entire way through, that is a normal, healthy way to live, for me. And like clearly, there are other people in this world, other points of view. So get your thing, get it. I am working on not shitting on the Bible or anything because, as you heard me say, like one of these dudes was like, "Don't be a pagan; they're bad." And I don't want to be like that. Although I do feel like I might be coming off like that. So I'm gonna try and rein that shit in because that's not. I don't want to be like that. So yeah. So it just for me like this stuff like seems very like controlling and uptight. It does not seem like lust equals rape, right? Because rape is generally like a power control thing, not like a lust thing. So it seems like what they're saying is just like you can't have sex with anybody except for your wife, and you can't even look at anybody except for your wife. And whew, God forbid that a woman looks at a man like that. I guess that wasn't even like brought up that I saw anyway. I only looked at 3 websites, so I'm sure it's in there somewhere, and I'm sure that she was probably like stoned or something. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, so this is what I want to work on for the next week. And so the next thing that for week 2 is create a poem using your selected sin as the theme. So next week, when we get on Wednesday, we are going to read our poems together. And if you like have a poem, you can post it in the chat, or if you want to, like, you can upload it to whatever Instagram or Facebook or YouTube and tag um, Witches Black Lent, Jasmine Ambrosia, and please tag me as well so I can see like what everybody else is doing, just so we can learn and work through this stuff. So yeah, so this, so like you can see all my tags below. So yeah, this is interesting. I don't know a lot about Christianity. I don't know. I mean, like, I know a little bit, but I did not, like, I knew that, like, I guess, like, Christians or Catholics or whatever, like, they did not want to have sex before marriage, but I had no idea, like, the Bible was this, like, fucking strict about it. And like this reading this made me hella uncomfortable. I just felt like really boxed in and captive. So I'm really excited to work on this because this is going to work in well with my trauma therapy. And yeah. So yeah, if you like this, please comment. If you want me to do anything differently next time. If you want me to, if you have any suggestions that are polite and not shitty, please post them below, or any concerns or whatever. And I do really look forward to us doing this as a group. So yeah. Okay. Well, I hope you all have a whatever kind of day that you need to have. And yeah, I'm not trying to shit on anybody's religion or way of thinking. That was not my intent, even though I think I was putting that out there in the beginning. So I don't want to be like that. So I do apologize about that. But also, this is not for me. So, like, this way of life. So I am looking forward to looking more into lust and seeing how I can incorporate it into my life and working on that poem for next week. All right. I will see you all later. Bye.